In the farthest corner of the visible universe, where light barely stretches and matter thins to a whisper, astronomers found something that broke the rules. It wasn't a star, it wasn't a black hole, it was a planet. But one that should not be there. It orbited nothing, it emitted no radiation. It obeyed no known laws of motion. It simply hung there, suspended in space without context. The discovery came not from observation, but from interruption. In 2190, the Hyperion Deep Array series of gravitational wave detectors spread across the Kuiper Belt registered a disturbance. Not a wave, not a fluctuation, but an absence. A brief moment where space itself seemed to forget how to behave. Coordinates were traced, telescopes turned, and then they saw it. A perfectly spherical body, deep black, darker than the background of space. No stars behind it, no glow around it, a void with edges. A planet that absorbed not just light, but understanding. At first, scientists assumed it was a rogue planet, but rogue planets drift. This one was still completely, absolutely, it didn't spin. It didn't drift, it remained locked in one point as if nailed into spacetime. They named it Draction 1, the Forbidden Sphere. Probes were dispatched, most never returned. Those that did brought back broken data. Timestamps corrupted, sensors inverted, images twisted in impossible geometries. One probe recorded a single word etched into its data core not alone. Then came the signal. Not from the planet, from nowhere. Instruments could not triangulate its origin. It came from every direction and none. A low pulse repeating every 6 minutes and 6 seconds. Too structured to be random, too stable to be interference. A linguistic team analyzed the waveform and found embedded within it a pattern matching ancient mathematical constants used in hypothetical multidimensional mapping. Further decoding revealed something terrifying. A rotating matrix that described a universe with 11 dimensions, 6 of which were incompatible with our own. As if someone or something was trying to communicate a physics that did not belong here. But why now? Why us? Draction 1 remained inert, unmoving, but the signal continued. And slowly, strangely, the planet began to appear in more locations. Simultaneously, observatories in different hemispheres detected identical copies. Not projections, not illusions, real measurements. Draction 1 was now in multiple places at once. Some believed it was a dimensional anchor. Others believed it was a rupture, a symptom of a larger phenomenon, a weakening of the boundaries between what is and what is not. Then came the dreams. Astronomers who studied the signal reported shared visions. A labyrinth of mirrors with no reflections, a staircase that ascended into itself. And always at the center, a sphere, black, silent, watching. Psychiatrists called it mass psychosis. But when AI systems running isolated analyses also began generating similar images, skepticism turned to fear. Machines dreaming simultaneously across networks, across continents, with no data shared. All generating the same planetary sphere that shouldn't exist. A philosopher named Dr. Kentaro Mura proposed a radical idea. That Draction 1 was not a planet at all. It was a thought, a foreign thought. An alien consciousness so vast and so distant from our own that we could only perceive it as an object. That our minds, limited by space and time, translated an intelligence into geometry. We saw it as a sphere because that was all we could understand, but what it really was had no shape. And the signal, he claimed, was not communication, it was presence. Not a message sent to us, but a side effect of something thinking near us. Thinking in a way the universe had never accommodated before. Then something changed, the signal shifted. Not in structure, but in feeling. Analysts reported a rising tension as if something was approaching. As if the static between pulses held breath. Then, during one pulse, the waveform bent just slightly. Enough to create an anomaly in the Earth's magnetic field. Satellites dipped, birds lost direction, clocks hesitated. And in that moment, all seismographs across the planet recorded a simultaneous tremor. But there was no quake, just a whisper. A voice caught in metal, in water, in the bones of those nearby. It said, "Open the eye," panic spread. People searched for the meaning. Was it literal? Symbolic? Religious groups interpreted it as divine instruction. Scientists debated whether Earth itself was being asked to perceive something. Theories emerged. Perhaps the Earth was part of a network. Perhaps it was one of many planets seeded with consciousness to eventually awaken and connect. Perhaps Traction 1 was the signal to initiate that awakening. Meanwhile, the planet began to flicker. Not visibly, conceptually, instruments would detect it, then lose it. Coordinate logs recorded its presence and absence simultaneously. It had become Schrodinger's planet, not real, not unreal. And then, suddenly, it was inside the solar system. No travel, no transition. One day it was billions of light years away. The next, it hovered beyond Pluto, still motionless. Still watching, it ignored all attempts at contact, but gravitational fields bent around it differently. Time slowed near it. Probes sent to approach returned before they launched. One carried a data file that no one had uploaded. It contained a poem in no known language. Yet readable by all, each reader saw different words. But the same meaning: we were never gone. You were never alone. You will remember us before you know us. The signal ceased, but the effect remained. Humanity had changed. Thought patterns became more fluid. Creativity exploded. People experienced moments of simultaneous awareness, of being here and somewhere else, of seeing through the eyes of stars. The planet began to fade, not in brightness, in concept. It stopped appearing on scans, memory of it dulled, documents lost detail. But no one forgot entirely. It remained like a name on the tip of the tongue. A presence behind the curtain, something just beyond reach. Something that should not exist, yet did, and perhaps always had. Traction 1 was not a place, it was a reminder. That reality is not a closed room, but a doorway. And that some signals do not come to teach, they come to awaken, to remind you that the universe is not only bigger than you know, it is stranger than you can imagine, and sometimes it notices you first.